Dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Vidya for Success. In this video, let us start the lesson Cell the Unit of Life. So let us have an introduction to this lesson. As children, if anybody asks you to list the difference between living and non-living things, we can list many characters because lots of differences are there between living and non-living things. And if we look into those differences, many questions will be arises in the mind. So one of the question is, what is that makes an organism living? Children, do you ever think why the living organisms are different from the non-living thing? And do you ever think why, what makes the organism living? So now you have answer to this question. And one more question you need to understand here is, what is that an inanimate thing does not have? Inanimate is nothing but non-living things. So the thing what is not there in the inanimate thing that is actually there in the living organism. So that the organism considered as a living, and so we have a lots of differences between living and non-living things. So what is it? What is actually making the organism living? Yes, that is cell. So cell is the thing that is actually making the organism living. So this cell is not present in non-living thing. So because of the absence of cell, the non-living things are totally different from the living organisms. So cell is actually a building block of living organism. You take any living organism, from simple primitive living organism to well developed or advanced organism. So all the organism body is constructed by cell. So cell is a building block of living organism. So like how we construct our house with the help of bricks, in the similar way our body is constructed by number of cells. So children, by using bricks we can construct different kinds of house, is it not? So in the similar way, the organization of cell in different way, different forms, actually leads to the formation of different kinds of organisms. So the plant and birds, then human being and wild animals. So all these organisms, what I said now, these are all not same in the appearance. So what actually make the differences in the appearance? Yes, that is the organization of cell. So how actually the cell is organized in the organism, that will make the different kinds of organisms. Clear, right? So cell is a building block of all living organism. So organization of cell in different kind actually leads to the formation of different kinds of organisms. Yes, let us have a look into the definition of cell. What is a cell? What is a cell? How can we define the cell? So cell is a fundamental structural and functional unit of all living organism. So what is mean by structural and functional unit? So as I told you children, our body is actually constructed by cell. So how the cells are organized in our body, that will actually decide the structure of an organism. So cell is considered to be a structural unit of organism. That means the proper structure of the organism is decided by the organization of cell. And it is also called as a functional unit of living organism. So what is the meaning of functional unit? So functional unit in this sense, whatever may be the function, it may be the metabolism of glucose, protein or lipid, that is completely takes place in the cell. Yes, children, you take the best example of stomach. What is the function of stomach? Digestion of food, right? So that is one organ. The formation of stomach initially started from cell. So there are different kinds of cells are there. So each cell in the stomach perform its unique function. And like this, all the cells in the stomach perform their own function, and they finally helps in the proper functioning of that particular organ. So the main function of the stomach is digestion. So all the cells present in the stomach finally helps in the process of digestion. Clear, right? So if you take any function of our body and structure of our body, that is actually decided by cell. So how we can define the cell? Cell is a fundamental, it is a basic structural and functional unit of all living organism. Understood? Yes. So based on the number of cells present in the organism, organisms are divided into two different types. So kinds of organisms based on the number of cells. Children, actually the number of cells in the organism decide the kind of organism. So we have already studied the biological classification lesson. So there we understood that different organisms were classified under different categories. So if we see the organism in the kingdom Monera, they are totally different from the organisms in the kingdom Animalia. Is it not? So the animals, organisms in the Monera kingdom, they are very primitive compared to the animals in the animal kingdom. So that the number of cells in the organism is actually one of the criteria for the classification of organism. So one such category is unicellular organism. What do you mean by unicellular organism? If the organism made out of only one cell, such an organism is known as unicellular. Uni means what? Single. So single cell organisms are called as unicellular organisms. So what example we can give for this? So we can give the example of organisms comes under the kingdom Monera and kingdom Protista. Is it not, children? Because there the organisms are unicellular. In the kingdom Monera we have seen the prokaryotic unicellular organisms, and in the kingdom Protista we have seen that kingdom consists of unicellular eukaryotic organism. Clear, right? So in the unicellular organism, because of the presence of only one cell, the entire function depends on that particular cell itself. Whatever may be the function, it may be intaking of food and removal of waste material, and intaking of air for respiration and reproduction. So all the function, all the physiological activities, all the functions are actually depends on that particular cell itself. Understood? So this is a one kind of organism. Then if the organisms made up of multiple number of cells, those organisms are called as multicellular organisms. Multi means what? Many. Clear? So many cells can be seen in the organism. So actually here the body of an organism constructed by number of cells. So we can take the example of fungi for this, except the yeast. Yeast is a unicellular fungi, and all other fungi are multicellular. And we can take the example of plants and animals. Clear? So here we have a multicellular organism. That means human beings are multicellular, plants are multicellular, and fungi are also multicellular. So in the multicellular organisms, many cells are organized and that form tissues, and tissues are organized in such a way to form organ, and organs are organized to form organ system, and organ system finally leads to the formation of organism. Clear, right? So, all these differences, what we are making in the organisms, different kinds of organisms, so these are only based on the organization of cell. Clear? So, in some of the primitive organisms, the organism consists of only one cell, so that those are named as unicellular organisms. So, in some of the advanced organisms, their body consists of multiple number of cells to perform different functions. So, based on the number of cells, the organisms are categorized, they are classified into two different types, unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Yes. Yes, let us move back to the history to understand when and how the discovery of cell done. So discovery of cell done many years back. Who discovered the cell? So cell for the first time discovered by one of the scientists he named as Robert Hooke. So Robert Hooke was the one who first identified the cell in the year 1665. So he was a very young scientist in that period. He was just 26 when he discovered the cell. He was very innovative. So he designed his own microscope to observe the cells. So for observing cells, he used one of the material that is named as cork. So cork is actually a wooden lid that is used to close the glass equipments. So when he observed the section of thin section of the cork under his own design microscope, he observed uh, honeycomb-like structure. So those honeycomb-like structures was first named by Robert Hooke as cells. So he was the first one who observed the cells and he named them as cells. Understood? So that he was the one who put effort to observe the cells and he named them as the cells. But he was not actually observed the cell organelles because during those days the science was not well developed, equipments were not there. That means what kind of equipments we are using nowadays, those kinds of equipments were not there in the olden days. So that he was the first one, just he came up with the idea that organisms like plants consist of cells. And many years later, one of the scientists described what is actually mean by cell. Who is that? Yes, his name is Anton von Leeuwenhoek. So Anton von Leeuwenhoek actually described cell. So what is mean by cell was actually defined by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. And he is the Anton von Leeuwenhoek. And Robert Brown discovered nucleus in the year 1833. So long years gap we have, children. So in the 1665 actually Robert Hooke discovered cell, and after long years the nucleus was discovered. So it was discovered by Robert Brown. So Robert Brown observed some of the darkly stained region in the cell and he named those darkly stained structures as nucleus. So later on, that means after 1833, many scientists they came up with their new innovative thoughts and ideas, and they discovered some of the cell organelles. And by the invention of electron microscope, the observation of cell under the electron microscope gave the actual picture regarding the cell and cell organelles. Yes, in the 18th century, the study of cells in plant and animals actually leads to the introduction of one of the hypotheses regarding the cells. So that hypothesis is named as cell theory. So cell theory hypothesis introduced by the scientist who named as Schleiden and Schwann. So Schleiden actually a German botanist. In the year 1838, he examined, that means he observed number of plants, different plants were observed by Schleiden, and he observed that all plants are composed of different kinds of cells which form the tissue of the plant. So what Schleiden done during those days is he observed, he collected many plants and he examined those plants and actually came to the conclusion that all plants are composed of different kinds of cells. That means different kinds of cells are actually present in the plant, and those cells are organized in such a way that to form a tissue. So this was the actual observation done by Schleiden in the year 1838. Almost in the same period, almost in the same period, one more scientist is actually a British zoologist. His name is Schwann. So in the year 1839, he observed animal cells and he identified a thin outer layer which is what today we call as plasma membrane. So Schwann was the one who keenly observed the animal cell and he identified the presence of plasma membrane. And he also noticed the presence of cell wall in the plant. And he said that the presence of cell wall is one of the unique character of plant cell what is not there in the animal cell. So that in those days, that means in the 1839 period, he observed the animal cell and he told that animal cells consist of plasma membrane and they does not consist of cell wall. So this was the idea collected during those days, and Schleiden and Schwann introduced one of the theory by their complete observation. So that hypothesis was named as cell theory. But one of the drawback observed in their hypothesis is they failed to explain how the new cells were formed. They just said that said that all the organisms, living organisms like plants and animals, they are made out of cells. But they fail to identify how actually the new cells were raised in the living organism. So because of that, there was no experimental proof to their hypothesis. And later, few years later, one of the scientists called Rudolf Virchow. So Rudolf Virchow modified the hypothesis of Schleiden and Schwann. So Schleiden and Schwann, they came up with their ideas that all plants and animals made out of cells and their product. But they were failed to explain how actually the new cells were formed in the organism. So one of the scientists named as Rudolf Virchow in the year 1855, he actually modified the hypothesis of Schleiden and Schwann and he gave a proper picture to the cell theory. So according to him, now we understand the cell theory as all living cells are composed of cells and product of cells. So this is the first statement with regarding the cell theory. So according to this, all living organisms, whatever the living organisms exist on earth, they are all composed of cells. So cells are the basic structural and functional unit and the organisms are composed of the products of cells. So some of the products are actually formed from the cells. So the living organisms are actually composed of cells and products of cells. And the one more statement here is all cells arises from pre-existing cells. So what do you mean by this? So there was a confusion with regarding how the new cells will come up. So this idea actually given by the Rudolf Virchow. So whatever the new cells are formed in the living organism, they are formed by pre-existing cell. Already existing cell in the body will give rise to new cells. That means the new cells does not come up with any magic. So old cells, that means pre-existing cells in the body, leads to the formation of new cells. So this is the schematic representation. Here you can see how the new cells will form in the living organism. So the first cell is actually pre-existing cell. So pre-existing cells divides and form new cells. Clear? So this is actually the idea of cell theory. So there are two statements are there in the cell theory. First statement is all living organisms are composed of cells and products of cells, and the one more statement is all cells arises from pre-existing cells. Understood, children? So this concept is very important with regarding your board examination. So they will ask you to list the points what are there in the cell theory. Clear? So you have to write both the statement, first and second statement. So understood till here, right? So in today's class, children, we have learned regarding the cell definition, and also we learned that what are the kinds of organisms based on the number of cells, and also we studied who discovered cell and about the cell theory. Clear? So here you have to learn the name of scientist who introduced cell theory and who modified the cell theory. Clear? Yes. Thank you.